Conversations about vaccines are some of the most important interactions healthcare providers have with patients and families. These discussions can build trust, support informed decision-making, and ultimately protect communities from serious illness. But we also know these conversations can sometimes feel challenging, especially when faced with questions, concerns, or inaccurate information. In this video, we'll walk through examples of real-world vaccine conversations. First, we'll show what not to do by watching an encounter where a provider misses opportunities to connect and build trust with a patient. Then, we'll explore more effective approaches, using strategies like presumptive communication, reflective listening, and empathy to help families feel supported and empowered in their decisions.
Good morning, Liz.
Hi.
All right, Emily is due today for her Tdap, meningococcal, and HPV vaccines. We'll get those taken care of before you leave.
Yeah. I think we're good with most of the vaccines. I don't think we're so sure about the HPV. I think we're gonna hold off.
Oh no, it's standard. All kids her age get it.
Oh, yeah. I know. I feel a little uncomfortable. I've just heard quite a bit of information about that particular vaccine. I just don't know if it's necessarily right for...
No, the internet is full of misinformation. Just trust me, it's safe. Let's not waste time on this. I'll let the nurse know.
I'm her mom, and her dad and I have talked about this, and this is a decision that we just don't feel comfortable with.
Look, it's recommended for kids so they're protected later, okay? It's important we do this. I don't understand why parents make this complicated.
Well, it's complicated because I think it's complicated for the information for us, and I don't want to have that vaccine. We'll do the other ones.
Fine, we'll skip it today. I really think you're putting her at risk, so let's just move on to talk about the other vaccines.
Okay, let's do that then.
This encounter shows how dismissive body language, impatient body language, and minimal explanation can impact the patient-provider relationship and erode trust. The parent's hesitation was repeatedly cut off, leaving her concerns unheard, and terms like misinformation further alienated her. Reflective listening was missing. There was no attempt to actively engage, ensure understanding, and explore what mattered most to the family. Vaccine hesitancy exists on a spectrum. Many patients fall in the movable middle, where provider curiosity, empathy, and repeated conversations can make a difference in the ultimate decision to vaccinate. Having questions about vaccines is not a character flaw. It often reflects a desire to make the best choice for their child or themselves. When patients present with vaccine questions, provider behavior, such as words, tone, and body language, can either build trust or create barriers. How providers start the conversation also matters. Research shows a presumptive approach, where vaccination is presented as routine and expected, such as saying, "Maya is due for her vaccines today. Any questions?" is far more effective than participatory phrasing, like, "What do you want to do about Maya's shots today?" which can unintentionally introduce doubt. Framing vaccination as standard care reinforces its safety and importance. Clear, confident recommendations have been shown to increase HPV vaccine uptake nearly tenfold, yet many parents receive hesitant, unclear, or delayed guidance, often because providers anticipate discomfort or feel pressed for time. Now, let's watch the same scenario again. A concerned mom is here with her 11-year-old daughter, and this time the provider uses a presumptive approach while leading with empathy. Notice how the patient is in the driver's seat, and how reflective listening and guided conversation build trust.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi, Liz. Hello, Emily.
Hi.
How's your summer been going?
Good.
Great. Nice to see you guys. You ready for school to start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, part of your checkup today and getting you ready for that and keeping you healthy is we are going to give you a Tdap, an HPV, and a meningococcal vaccine.
Okay. Yeah, we're fine with all of our vaccines, as you know, which is pretty much up to date and everything, but I just don't really think we're going to do the HPV vaccine today. I think we'll hold off on that one.
Okay. What is it? Do you have specific concerns or something that you've read about that vaccine?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we've heard some things from family and friends, here and there that it's not. I think I have questions on its safety. I feel like it might not be, a vaccine that's maybe as safe as some of the other vaccines that I've heard about or we've, had her take.
Yeah, a very normal concern. I think sometimes this one feels maybe newer to people as well. So HPV has actually been around over 15 years, the vaccine, and it's been administered to over 150 million people worldwide. And so, government agencies and healthcare organizations and scientists have kind of monitored the safety of this if we've rolled it out. And serious adverse effects are extremely rare. I mean, it is common side effects, almost like any vaccine, where you can get a sore arm or maybe some redness, a low-grade temp that usually resolves quite quickly. But I'm unaware of any ongoing, major safety concerns.
Okay. I mean, do you feel like she's too young? I mean, when I hear about HPV, what it prevents, and I think of more like sexually transmitted disease, or so I just feel like right now, I mean, she's just turned 11. I feel like that's something that it's just maybe she's too young for right now.
That is a very good question, and one I hear often. You're not alone in feeling that way. It's totally understandable that you would be wondering about that. So HPV stands for human papillomavirus, and this is a virus that's very common. It's out there. We know this. It's estimated that almost everyone will come into contact at some point with this virus in their lifespan. So the idea is we want to administer this early to her so she can mount a protection, mount an immune response, and then be protected far before she might ever be exposed to such a virus. It's kind of analogous to when you go for a bike ride, you put on your helmet to prevent a head injury. Similar to this, we want to give the HPV vaccine to have her safe and protected far, sooner than she might actually come across the virus.
Okay. Well, I guess those things make sense.
Yeah, good. I mean, what stands out to you about what we've talked about today?
Well, I mean, I think I feel a little bit better about the safety. When you talked about it's been, around for a while, and also it makes sense a little bit more as to why, you're giving it to her early. I like that analogy, I guess, with the helmet, right? To make sure she's really protected. So those things make sense. I guess it's giving me something to think about. I mean, when I came here today, I was adamant, or I didn't know if we were going to recommend it today or not, but I had already made up my mind that she wasn't going to have that vaccine. But now, I don't know, it's giving me something to think about. Maybe maybe reevaluate.
Great. Well, thanks for that. What would you like to do today regarding the HPV vaccine?
I think I'd like just to take a little bit of time to think about it and talk it over with my husband too. I mean, we've been in a family conversation with some other family members that were really adamant about not vaccinating their children about this, and we were kind of in the conversation afterwards, and we both agreed that we wouldn't have Emily vaccinated for that. But I think maybe I'll talk with him about it and share some information that you provided to me.
Very reasonable. Yeah, I think that's what caring parents do. I mean, this is an important decision. I think it's great for you guys to continue discussing. I'm happy to send you with a handout with more details around the vaccine. I can give you a couple websites that I go to and I trust for valid information.
Sure.
But I do think overall this is an important part of Emily's care to keep her safe and healthy. So it's something I'd like to revisit. I'll just make a note in the chart that we'll talk about it next time you're in.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good, and I think those resources would be good. I'll make sure to take a look at those and share them with my husband.
All right, excellent.
In the video, the provider's body language was calm, warm, and she engaged both the parent and the child. When mom shared her hesitation, the provider paused and asked her to elaborate, showing respect, opening the door for honest concerns, and starting the visit with empathy and active listening. She validated mom's concerns rather than dismissing them and provided clear, balanced information, highlighting vaccine protection while acknowledging mild side effects, building confidence and trust. Analogies like comparing HPV vaccination to wearing a bike helmet made the message relatable. Finally, asking the family what stands out invited reflection, creating a two-way conversation. At the end, the provider honored the family's autonomy by asking what they wanted to do. Even though the mother isn't ready to vaccinate, the real success was maintaining trust and leaving the door open for future conversations. Providing a handout and planning follow-up reinforce that vaccination discussions are ongoing, not one-time decisions. This contrasts with the earlier dismissive example and shows how empathy, listening, and respect for autonomy build trust. Now, let's see how the next visit plays out. You'll notice how the provider circles back, acknowledges the mother's earlier hesitation, and checks in respectfully on the family's decision-making.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello again, guys. How are we doing?
Good.
Great. Nice to see you, Emily. Last time you were in, we talked a little bit about the HPV vaccine. I know it was something you wanted to go home and discuss with your husband. Were you guys able to have those conversations?
Yeah, we did. I shared the information that you gave with us, the website and the handout, and then we talked about it and kind of reevaluated whether or not we wanted to revisit that and talk about it. So we did talk about it.
Great. I'm so glad you were able to discuss that. If there's particular or important questions that came out, I'm happy to try and address those again today.
Well, the information you gave was really good. One question that we had and was one of our concerns about safety. I know you already talked about safety,
Sure.
but just in particular, we're just kind of concerned about infertility in this vaccine. Can you speak to that at all?
Absolutely. I'm actually really glad you brought that up because it's a common concern that I do hear. So first of all, there's just no evidence that the HPV vaccine causes infertility. In fact, it's almost the opposite. So HPV vaccine helps prevent infections that could lead to certain types of cervical cancer. And depending on, cervical cancer and its treatment, sometimes the surgical procedures or other things we need to do could lead to fertility issues, right?
Okay. Sure,
So it's actually kind of the opposite of that. But we have multiple studies, including quite long-term research, that has shown no link between infertility and this vaccine. I'm happy to actually share those studies with you and your husband if you'd like.
Yeah, I don't know. That's okay. I mean, I think I trust what you're saying and your thoughts on that. So yeah, that was really. When we talked about it, we revisited right before we came in, figuring you probably want to suggest the vaccine again, and we just talked about it last night, and that was just the one question I had. So
good. Does anything stand out about what I shared, or do you want more information?
No, I think just the reiterating that that's been around for a while, and that there hasn't been anything in the fact that if you actually get HPV, it is more of a risk. I guess that makes sense. So I think we feel comfortable with changing our mind and getting her vaccinated.
Great. I'm so happy to hear it. I mean, it's very common that we focus more on the potential side effects of what we're trying to do today versus the actual, disease that we're preventing.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'm so glad we could talk that through. So what would you think you'd like to do today?
Yeah, we'll go ahead, just continue with her normal physical, and then before we leave, we'll give her the vaccine, I guess.
Great. I think you're making a great choice to keep Emily healthy today. So I'll have my nurse bring it in.
All right.
All right.
The final 2 encounters with this family demonstrated 2 important principles: social norms and empathy. Humans take cues from others, especially about health decisions. When families know that most people in their community vaccinate, they're more likely to follow suit. Providers can normalize vaccination by saying, "Most of the families I work with choose to vaccinate," or "A majority of our patients are up to date," framing it as standard practice. Empathy is equally important because it builds trust, opens the door for honest discussion, and strengthens partnerships. Judgment, even when well-intentioned, can easily backfire. For example, during the COVID-19 vaccine rollout, people who felt judged or morally criticized were more likely to refuse vaccination. Research shows polite, positive corrections are more effective than negative ones. Vaccine hesitancy is rarely just about facts. It's shaped by values, identity, and lived experiences. Listening doesn't mean agreeing with inaccurate information. It means understanding fears and motivations and building trust rather than alienating patients. When patients feel heard, their decisions, like whether to vaccinate, are informed rather than reactionary. The consequences of failing to listen are clear: rising hesitancy, declining immunization rates, and the return of preventable diseases. In the latter examples, the provider's approach shows that combining clear information with empathy and social norms makes vaccine guidance not only more effective, but more human.